Welcome one and all to episode 5 of March Malcontent. Starting off with Wolf and Pacman. Pacman wearing the Oven Mitts skin. Not entirely sure why it's in the game, but it looks fun, so why not? Pacman getting a quick 3 forward airs on Wolf. It's probably one of Pacman's most used moves, especially this Pacman. He keeps using it. Okay, now he's finally shaking things up. But Pacman's forward air does kind of combo into itself at a lot of percents, and then eventually killing, of course, so it's a pretty good move to have a lot of the time. Also, interesting thing there, Pacman teched on the fire hydrant. You don't usually see that too much. Wolf dropped his reflector before getting hit by the fire hydrant. If he had just kept it out for an extra half second, he probably wouldn't have gotten hit in the face like that. Wolf getting the first kill on Pacman. Not necessarily early because Wolf is technically not a heavy character, but aside from his weight, he has most of the traits of a heavy character, so he does hit pretty hard. Especially, you know, with his smash attacks. Pacman struggling to find the first kill. Goes for an edge guard, gets a forward air. Pacman's able to recover. Wolf isn't able to make it to Pacman in order to recover using his trampoline. Maybe a side B could have made it, but depending on the timing, it could have hit Pacman out of the animation, which would have still killed Wolf. Possibly killing Pacman, but no guarantees. Wolf did something very dangerous right there. Pacman's trampoline, it's actually from the Mappy games. It starts out blue, and then turns yellow, and then red. Oh, there we get a good reflection of the fire hydrant. When the trampoline's red, any character who hits the trampoline, as in who touches it with their person, gets put in a special fall. They added a new feature where you can hit the trampoline to reduce its usability by a stage, going from blue to yellow to red. That does mean, though, that attacking the trampoline with a move that sends you into the trampoline is incredibly dangerous because it might progress the trampoline to the red state and then put you in special fall, and if you're in abyss, that is guaranteed death. Unless, you know, someone saves you, but Pacman probably won't want to do that. So that's why you usually don't attack into the trampoline. Unless, of course, Pacman needs to hit it again to recover, in which case you would want to hit it to make it harder for him to recover. That being said, see, Wolf just made a good recovery back then using Pacman's trampoline. Got killed immediately right after, but if he hadn't, it would have been an incredibly useful play. Oh, I forgot to finish. That you can attack the trampoline, you can also use it yourself to always decrease its stage by 1. So attacking it isn't normally necessary. It does kind of lead to a little bit more janky behavior. But I suppose if you have a multi-hit, you could conspire to just wreck Pacman's day. Smash not killing, Pacman finding himself above Wolf, decides to hit him with a fire hydrant, as every Pacman player ever tends to do. Is able to trip up Wolf off the ledge with that down air. That's not normally a consistent sort of thing. And an up smash from Wolf will kill Pacman. Next up, we have Samus versus Greninja. A very old amiibo against a very new amiibo. I guess you could try to use them to evaluate how good I've gotten at training amiibo over time. Not that these amiibo battles are any indication. Well, I mean, they are an indication, but they're not a guaranteed indication of how good any amiibo is, especially in a whole bunch of different matchups. Samus catching Greninja's air dodge with a forward air. One of the perks of having moves that stay out for a long time. which of course usually means that they are multi-hitting moves, because if they're not, then it's just kind of weird. That smash attack didn't quite kill Samus. Greninja would have had to charge it longer, but then it probably wouldn't have hit. Greninja's up smash is long and disjointed, so it can go through platforms. Although, and here's a really weirdly specific problem with Greninja's up smash. On battlefield platforms, it doesn't connect the second hit into Link or Ganondorf, but it will connect into most other characters, if not all of them. I haven't done any consistent testing. I'm pretty sure it's just due to how the hurt box shifting works after they get hit. Also, that was a really late hit of up smash. Not usually the hit that kills people, but I guess it worked. This battle is interesting because of the short wall in the middle of the stage. It does mean that an amiibo like Samus will have a lot harder time camping out Greninja. In professional play, Samus isn't especially powerful, but that's only at the very highest level of gameplay. For most people, and I guess by extension kind of these amiibo, Samus is usually strongest when spamming a whole bunch of projectiles the opponent will have to deal with. This Samus specifically seems to be unable to kill Greninja. Could have double jumped there and hit him with another up air and then an up B to kill him off the top. But Samus does not seem to be doing that. Getting a boost assist from the Hydro Pump to land the up air on Greninja. Greninja footstooling Samus. Almost out of humiliation, I guess? It's a really weird way to catch a tech roll. Missing each other for a bit, that either means that you are both incredibly skilled at dodging or both incredibly bad at hitting people. I do notice that Samus seems to be going for a large majority of aerials, predominantly up air. Able to recover, though. Greninja getting a drag down to jab combo. Usually you combo it into something like down smash because that kills people. Or up smash in case you don't think down smash is going to hit. Now that's a ladder combo. And that's catching out somebody's jump. Samus, in order to succeed, will have to jump a little less. Smash Brothers characters in general are weakest when they're jumping. Mostly just because when you're in midair, you only can use any of your aerials and usually all of your special moves. When you're on the ground, you can use any of your grounded moves, any of your special moves, smash attacks, tilts, jabs, grabs, and if you really need to, you can jump and then use an aerial. So being in the air is typically disadvantageous. Right there you can see that Samus's jab didn't connect the second hit. For some reason in all the Smash Brothers games, Samus's jab has not properly connected. The opponent always has enough reactability to either shield or fall out of it or jump or whatever. It seems to be on purpose. There's even specific tips talking about it. No one really knows why. It doesn't feel like Samus's would be broken if her jab connected at non-kill percents. Because the second jab will at least be a true follow-up at like 160%. And at that point, you can just hit someone with another move like, oh, I don't know, Samus's down tilt comes out pretty fast, hits pretty hard, and then kill them instead of comboing the extra 6% from the jab. Samus with a pretty awesome spike on Greninja. If Samus can just avoid getting randomly up smashed out of nowhere, which of course is harder when you're at the top of the screen, but Samus might have a chance of bringing this back. Greninja missing a forward tilt that far off stage, it might as well have just killed Samus. Back throw, not going to kill. Greninja goes with a pretty cool edge guard, though. Greninja's edge guarding in general is pretty good because of how long he can stay in the air. And a couple other factors. And up next is Wii Fit Trainer versus Incineroar. Now, in real life, this would be the equivalent of someone who likes yoga going up against an enormous elemental fire cat who's ripped out of his mind. So in real life, Incineroar would definitely win. And he's comboing a whole bunch of up airs, so I can't really blame him. In Smash Brothers, though, Wii Fit Trainer probably has a better chance if she can hit Incineroar. Oh, there's a hit. It counts. Until about right now. Oh, well, she landed a second hit, but Incineroar would have auto-healed most of the damage she dealt. Incineroar threatens going off stage, but Wii Fit Trainer is a character who's very good off stage. And Incineroar isn't, mostly just in the fact that his recovery to get back is pretty poor. He does have two options he can try to mix it up with. And neither of them put him into Special Fall, his side B and up B respectively. But if you use the up B first and you don't hit the ledge, you go down so far that if you don't have your jump, you're probably dead. And his side B is a little predictable as a result. Of course, if he hits you with a move, it'll hurt. Like that. Incineroar died, but he took Wii Fit Trainer with him. Gonna make it an uphill battle for Wii Fit Trainer. She'll have to get like a good edge guard, I suppose. Which is going to be hard because Incineroar's not going to be inclined to go off stage. I say that knowing that as an amiibo, Incineroar is going to do whatever he feels like. But also, Incineroar is one of the best amiibo in the, I guess I'd call it a pro amiibo circuit, where people just do amiibo tournaments, and Incineroar is really good. Granted, one of the reasons Incineroar is so good is because the AI has problems detecting moving grabs, which Incineroar's side B counts as. Incineroar's down B, the revenge mechanic, also stacks with his side B more than all of his other moves. That's not just a practical observation, it's actually... it has its own multiplier. Some of his moves have multipliers, but that one is a higher multiplier than his other moves. Interestingly enough, to try to balance it out, if you have revenge and you use your side B, you lose your revenge a little bit faster than if you use other moves, which also drain your revenge. Wii Fit Trainer just cannot kill Incineroar. Maybe some deep breathing would help with that. Wii Fit Trainer, of course, has to play it super safe, because if Wii Fit Trainer gets hit by a smash attack, Wii Fit Trainer is going to die. Because Incineroar is a slow, heavy character, which means he hits hard. Wii Fit Trainer finally got the kill. Now needs to camp out Incineroar for a tremendously long amount of time. Gets the deep breathing, though. That's a good start. Incineroar threatens going off stage, but doesn't, because, again, he can't go too far off stage. Hitting with forward air from the opposite end of the stage, that's not going to kill Wii Fit Trainer. Wii Fit Trainer gets a grab combo to up air to forward air to an edge guard. Incineroar makes it back, though. Gets the running dash attack into Wii Fit Trainer. That's going to close out the match. Now we've got Mr. Game & Watch against Peach. Some of you may have or may not have noticed that Episode 3 only had 7 matches. That's because I failed at counting. So, the last episode, which is going to be Episode 8, because 64 divided by 8 is 8. So there's going to be 8 episodes of 8 matches each. The last one's just going to have the extra match. Unless I counted wrong again, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. Well, I hope you enjoyed the awkward silence. I should probably start talking about the match again. Things seem to be going pretty normally, I suppose, at least as normal as things seem to go in this tournament. Peach is a very floaty character, but Game & Watch is a character who's very good at juggling characters, so floating around above him isn't as helpful as it would be in most other matches. I mean, you can already see that Peach is having a... Okay, aside from getting killed, she's having a hard time dealing with all the gusts that Mr. Game & Watch is shooting out at her. Oh, Game & Watch goes for the 9, only gets a 6. All the different numbers of Judgment, Mr. Game & Watch's side B, have a different effect. I don't necessarily have them all memorized, but remember that 3 is the shield breaker, 1... does damage to yourself, 2 flips the opponent, 6 is the fire attack, 8 is the ice attack, 9 is the electric one that is really, really strong. I think 6 is the weaker electric one, and I don't remember 4 or 5, but one of them hits you the exact number of times for their number. It's probably 4 that does that, which would mean that 5 has a different random effect, like maybe Aura. Maybe Editor Me will be generous and just put a chart of all the effects on screen. That would be convenient. Oh, and 7 drops 3 apples. It used to be 1 apple. I don't know why they changed it to 3. Oh, and you also have to hit people with it now. Because I guess 3 apples would be broken? I'm not entirely sure why, though, because 1s deal damage to you. So if you try to farm infinite apples, you have a 50% chance of just taking more damage than you recover. Peach trailing behind, gets a great parry though. Into down smash, does not properly edgeguard the Mr. Game & Watch. Peach's forward air might have killed him just because he was so far off stage there. Mr. Game & Watch with his invincible up smash. They kind of seem to be avoiding each other. Peach seems to be struggling with those gusts from Mr. Game & Watch's up air, especially because Amiibo don't normally DI. I think you hit them with the same move enough times they eventually learn that it's something they should be doing. But against some of Mr. Game & Watch's moves, you really need to be trying to escape all of his combos with any means available. Mr. Game & Watch goes below the stage just to hit Peach with another up air. I think he values that move a little too highly. Peach, though, needs to learn how to kill. She has a counter, that would be useful for getting out of a couple of these binds. Oh, that was supposed to have... Well, that would normally be the berry hitbox. Or the hitbox that sends Peach sideways. Next we've got Ludwig versus Shulk. By Ludwig, I mean Bowser Jr. I can see how that would be confusing. It's a Bowser Jr. amiibo, but the skin is of Ludwig. So that's why all of his name text is always Ludwig. There's no actual differences between the skins. Shulk hasn't used any of his Monado arts yet. A little peculiar, although I do recall that the AI has a hard time using the correct... There we go, using the correct arts at the right time. Speed is fine now, I guess. I just don't see a reason why Shulk would have needed it, especially when trying to kill Ludwig off the side of the stage. The short version of all the Monado arts is that each one comes with a sacrifice to try to make it balanced. For example, Shulk's Shield Monado increases his weight and defense and shield attributes, so he actually gets a shield that takes more damage than anyone else's shield in the game when he's using the Shield Monado, at the expense that he becomes a lot slower. Or for the Smash Monado, you deal more knockback to opponents, but you deal less damage to opponents as well. So it's great for killing, but you don't want to have it on all the time, because usually you need to build up percent before you kill people. So they kind of monkey pod all of Shulk's effects. The thing about the jump and speed Monado, though, are that they both have an associated effect that makes it harder to kill opponents. One of them reduces damage, one of them reduces knockback, but also they reduce the other's effects. So the jump Monado reduces Shulk's speed slightly in exchange for being able to make him jump higher. So of course it's better when recovering off stage because your speed is a little slower, but you can jump so much higher that it will save your life. And then Speed Monado increases Shulk's speed, but decreases his jump height just a little bit. Which, of course, both of the effects actually kind of match with... They actually help in a weird way with their respective goals, I suppose. For example, when you have Speed Monado, you kind of don't want big floaty jumps. You probably want to be on the ground more often than not. So Shulk just went for the Buster Monado, which does increase damage, but does less knockback as one of its consequences. So you can see there how his first attack sent Ludwig nowhere, and his second one killed him because the Monado art that was hindering his knockback wore off. Surprisingly, both amiibo are pretty close to being, well, pretty close in percents right now. A 16% health lead is not really that much in Smash Brothers. There would have to be a very specific threshold. That, if the timing was different, that could have actually just killed Shulk. Because both of the knockbacks were too weak to kill, but because the bomb stuck to him, if it had launched just a little bit later, it could have thrown him off the stage. Kind of an interesting combo that Bowser Jr. has. Shulk doesn't seem to be using his up tilt ever, which is a little weird because it's his fastest way to cover enemies above him. It's actually one of his quicker moves. I don't think it beats out his jab, but it's really good for just getting people away. And of course, like all of his moves, you can stack it with the Monado. Which apparently the whole thing around the Monado, since the game is like a 100-hour game, lots of people haven't played it, me included, so I don't know everything about it that I guess I should. But I'm pretty sure the Monado is the sword. And now that I say it out loud, I'm not entirely sure why people keep specifying one way or the other. There's got to be something I'm missing. So that was interesting. Shulk actually... Oh, I think that bomb just killed him, yep. he grabbed the Mecha Koopa, and it looks like he landed and that canceled out his forward air. Or he just got grabbed before it could come out. Now we're up to Simon versus Mewtwo. Mewtwo being a Pokemon that was engineered in the lab to be the best Pokemon, and Simon being the kind of guy who destroys that kind of monster with that kind of description. Of course, in Smash Brothers, it's not as clear-cut as for who will win. Mewtwo is a Psychic-type Pokemon, even though he has a lot more physical moves than you'd think. Kicks and tail slaps and whatnot. He also has Shadow Ball, which is a Ghost-type move. He actually has that move because in the movie where Mewtwo kind of made his debut, he uses a mystery move that looks just like Shadow Ball, but Shadow Ball didn't exist yet. So when they put him into Smash Brothers, it was pretty obvious, like, hey, let's give him that move that he had that no one else even could use yet. The interesting thing about this stage is that the background looks incredibly accurate. That's because it's actually most of it at least, is a photo taken of Breath of the Wild. And when I say photo, I don't mean they pointed the camera at their screen. I mean, they would have captured it using development tools. But it is just a static image. A couple other elements are closer, like some of the trees, so that they can scale better to give it dimensionality. Mewtwo, I think, almost went for the disrespectful footstool. And then Simon just gets a very quick kill with the forward air angled down to hit Mewtwo. If you don't know about Simon's forward air, is that you can angle it, and since the hitbox is so thin, it's actually pretty important so that you don't miss. These two just love playing at the ledge right now. That caught Mewtwo's... Oh, I was going to say it caught his jump, but apparently it didn't. Simon could have gone for an incredibly risky down air spike on Mewtwo to try to kill him early. Not going for an up air after that, though. Which is really weird because Simon's up air hits very far above him. He went for it there, but he got killed first. I guess that's what he gets for taking coaching advice in the middle of a match, but assuming, of course, that he's listening to me. Up tilts Mewtwo and then decides to start charging a smash attack. Obviously it doesn't come out in time. Tries to edge guard Mewtwo with neutral air. That usually doesn't work on anybody with a good recovery. Gets Mewtwo with the slide kick. Everyone always complains about how it gets Simon out of danger, but nobody ever talks about how good of an attacking move it is. Especially if you've hit somebody's shield with an axe already, so that it's smaller and that usually exposes their head, then the second kick just perfectly lands on top of their shield, so it's kind of becomes unblockable. Simon was about 2 inches away from getting the spike hitbox there. That would have killed him. He's not throwing out as many projectiles as you normally would hope for a Simon to throw out. Goes for an up smash to catch a landing target. He doesn't have an up smash that hits in front of him, so you really can't do that. He does block the Shadow Ball, though. That would have been a great time for a forward smash. The up tilt didn't connect, so take that as you will. Simon does know to grab the stage with his aerials, though, which is good, because otherwise he only has the one recovery option. Dodges a probably fatal smash attack. Mewtwo's just floating around. Simon doesn't seem to have much of a response. He needed to air dodge in order to make it back from that, and he didn't. And even if he had, it would have been really close. Now we've got Ivysaur against Bowser Jr. Our reigning champion against the amiibo from 2 matches ago, because we only have him for so much filming time before he has to get off to his next movie. Meaty up smash from Ivysaur. There is a ceiling, so Bowser Jr. is able to recover faster than otherwise. And sneaking out a bomb, I didn't even see it come out. Trading with Ivysaur. Now he's resulting into stabbing Ivysaur with a fork. Ivysaur switching to Charizard actually kind of works to get the upper hand. The timing isn't too bad either because Charizard is heavier and hits harder, so it could probably kill Bowser Jr. and take hits better. Apparently listening to that advice, switching off a Squirtle who has a hard time killing and is lighter. Kind of in exchange for some reason not having as many combos as he used to, but he's very agile. And then the angle on that just messed up Ivysaur. Charizard gets the spike, but it's on stage, so it's not going to kill. Maybe an up air from this high up might kill Bowser Jr. By up air, I meant up throw, but he switched to Squirtle, so that changes everything. Now trying to kill with Squirtle smash attacks. That's gonna be kind of rough. He's doing a pretty good job of not getting hit as Squirtle, though. Gets a ledge trump, twitches to Ivysaur, which would have been great to spike the ledge grab animation. So, Bowser Jr. did something kind of genius there to avoid getting hit, possibly spiked and killed, which I would normally degrade in any other situation. Ivysaur is now on the back foot, though. As Charizard, 78%, okay, 90% behind Bowser Jr. Recovers, though, uses Charizard's extra jump. Want to use side B to recover again, but I don't think it armored through the cannonball. Flare Blitz does have 2 hitboxes, so it is kind of weird like that. In the first hitbox is a projectile, which means it can be reflected. Honestly, the move is just a little bit weird in its execution. Ivysaur switching back to Charizard again, though. Which is good for getting the kill, I suppose. Is a little bit early for that, though, so normally you'd want to be at Squirtle or Ivysaur, like Pokemon Trainer just did. Going for an edge, oh, doesn't get it. Gets stuffed out by the back air. Oh, doesn't even go for a forward air after that combo. But he gets Bowser Jr. from across the stage with a Flare Blitz. I guess Charizard was the right choice. Now, this is going to be interesting because Pokemon Trainer kind of needs to stay as Charizard because the other 2 Pokemon are just a little bit lighter. And he could get killed by down tilting Bowser Jr. into the wall. Almost clinking with the wall, that would have been terrible. But Ivysaur is doing a really good job of pulling this back and then getting killed at the very end. There was too much knockback for him to tech, you can tell because of the little red hit effects when he bounced off the stage. Now we're up to Charizard versus Duck Hunt. Just as a reminder, the Charizard amiibo is different from the Ivysaur amiibo. Even though technically they play the same character in the game, they do have separate learning. And of course, Charizard starts out as Charizard, whereas Ivysaur starts out as Ivysaur. I do wish there was a way to get the Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard amiibo to stay as their preferred Pokemon. I do know that would be a problem, though, because, well, Charizard has the best recovery, and you can switch to him in midair. and he will still always have his extra jump available because Squirtle and Ivysaur can't use it to prevent Charizard from having it. So a lot of the time you'll see Pokemon trainers that, even if they're trying to stay as like Ivysaur for most of the game, they will... Well, okay, so here's how it normally works. If Squirtle's off stage, Squirtle is going to use down B, turn it to Ivysaur. Ivysaur is going to use up B. If that doesn't reach, using a special move as Pokemon Trainer lets you switch into your next Pokemon faster than the like 1.5 second cooldown. And it just so happens that Ivysaur's up B is one of, if not the special move that Pokemon Trainer has that is faster than 1.5 seconds. So that means that as Ivysaur you can use up B, and if it doesn't work you can switch into Charizard, use the extra mid-air jump, and then use Charizard's up B. It's actually a kind of elegant system to make sure that you can always switch for the right Pokemon to recover with. So that would be a problem of locking the amiibo into a specific Pokemon. But I wish you could make them prefer a specific Pokemon so that they would be perhaps different, and then that the Pokemon Trainer amiibo would switch between all of them more liberally. From what I understand, people have actually tried to train the Pokemon Trainer not to switch, but it's ingrained in the Pokemon Trainer's AI, so you can't prevent it. Nintendo semi-recently announced the new Wii Sports sequel. I don't even remember what it's called. I think it's Nintendo Sports. They're trying to market it with these cool, hip, fresh-looking characters, but what everyone really wants is to be able to play as the Mii characters again. And the game doesn't have as many features as Wii Sports Resort, and the whole reason I bring this up is because we're on the Woohoo Island stage, which I believe got developed for Wii Fit, but then since they already had the model and the assets, they used it in a couple of other fitness-related or Mii-centered games, which everyone was actually kind of fine with. I mean, the place was popular enough to get a course in Mario Kart 8. It's a battle course, but you can drive around Woohoo Island. And from the practical side, it did mean that every time they needed to do something like let you ride a bicycle through a couple of different environments, they didn't need to make an entirely new item every single every single time. They could just use the one they already had. So you actually kind of get a little nostalgic of like, oh, I remember this place. I was here in the bicycle riding game or something like that. And of course, this part of the island is actually from an older Nintendo game. I believe it's the Pilot Wings game. This is part of it. That's why it looks different and is flat. It's a pretty cool reference, though. Charizard is on Squirtle at 120%. Must have heard what I said because he switched to Ivysaur. That's actually a really good combo. Down throw to up B. If you can hit it, it has a really good chance of killing. It didn't kill Duck Hunt though, and Charizard's gonna have to take the loss as a result.